Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday, November 10th here in beautiful Sudbury, Ontario on my end. And for Neil and his, are you? No, you're not in the same town, are you?
Toms River, New Jersey.
Tom's River, New Jersey.
Toms River.
Home of Tom's River Brewing. I know that.
That's true.
I
Yes.
know that.
And also home of Todd Frazier, that baseball player.
Oh, yeah, that's
Played for the
right.
Yankees from Toms River. Won a Little League
Tom's
World
River.
Series with Toms River.
I'm still not over the baseball from last week.
I've been over it for over a month. I don't.
I'm glad. Yeah,
But that's different. But it's different because my team got bounced way
long time ago.
way long time ago. Baseball is dead to me.
Well, it's funny. Like we were talking before we jumped on, like about the whole NFL parody, and now we're talking hockey parody now, and you see what's happening in the West and the East all of a sudden, and it's like Jesus Christ, like look what's happening all of a sudden with the standings.
So glad you brought that up.
So
glad
like,
you brought that up.
well, and I think we'll kind of end up doing this at the end of each show, just to like go through the standings and just see how everyone else is doing. I was kind of briefly looking at it this morning, and like the Ducks being up there, they're having a hot start. The Avalanche losing one regulation home game to start the year is crazy.
The game against Edmonton, I mean, they beat the.
I have that. Don't worry. I actually have a debate with that coming up, so we'll talk about that.
It's funny you bring up the parody thing because I have a really good quote from Sheldon Keefe literally this morning talking about the parody in the league and like
Unreal.
Where we're at. I don't know. Like, let me know when you want me to read it.
Yeah, well, so take care of the Flames stuff first. I want to talk about that Avalanche game on Saturday. And then, we'll jump into that quote afterwards. So let's take care of why we're here though first. And
why are we here, Kyle?
And Neil doesn't even know what this was about. So
I actually don't. So
this is going to be fascinating. So late last week, there's obviously been talks of Kadri, right? His name's going to continue to pop up all the way until the trade deadline, unless something happens, right?
Yeah.
So his name has continued to pop up again and again and again and again and again. And for a lot of us in the fan base here, we want to sell. We want stuff to begin to happen here, right? We'll eventually get into the Anderson stuff, and whether Kadri stays or goes here, it'll happen eventually, right? Here's the big thing that happened last week. So, talking to Flames owner Murray Edwards,
remember this now. Yep.
He has zero interest as of today, and as of when this was posted. Thank you again to Flames Nation for having this. No interest in trading Nazem Kadri. Now, that was at the time, and this was during a little bit last week, even leading into today as well, too, that there is still no interest in trading Kadri. We'll get into last night. We'll get into what happened against the Blackhawks as well, too, 2 nights ago. But this has fans, including myself now, wanting Murray Edwards to go. It's time. Because you, as an owner, clearly don't give a shit about, the fans, about, the guy's not even in Calgary. I think he lives in London, Ontario, for all I know. But at some point, you're getting held down, and you're deflecting the blame now to Craig Conroy. He should still do something. He's in his still interest. He still has the full capacity to do something here, right? With months to go. And, we're still going to see how this progresses as we continue forward. But I'm so sick and tired of this owner, man. It's time for something to change here, because every year it's been the same thing with this Murray Edwards guy, probably dating all the way back to when we drafted Tkachuk, okay? And how we wanted to, we're a good team, we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to do something. And he is a big part of the reason why this team has been in the middle for the longest time. Because it goes all the way back to, remember the signings of Troy Brouwer and how bad that was, the James Neal signing. Like, there's so many things that you can go back to that add up to all of this shit, right? With what he said about not wanting to trade Kadri, it's kind of sending Flames fans over the edge now. That's just where we're at. It's sending everybody over the edge because we want to suck this year. Okay, great. But we want to get the value back as well, too, from guys like Kadri, whether Anderson's maybe a here nor there. But it has to start again, right? And we have to realize that And I'm in no position to say that. I don't think we should be getting picks or anything. I'm looking at prospects still, and we'll see how the draft comes up this year. But at what point is Murray Edwards going to look at this team being 4-11 now, as we sit here today, and go, yeah, let's pull the plug? Like, at
Right.
what more evidence do you need to see? Devin Cooley, for fuck's sakes, is outplaying Dustin Wolf. And he had a great night last night.
It's great.
You had
Yeah.
36 shots. We'll get into the game. You had 36 shots on net, and you had 19 from the Wild last night, and the Wild still win 2-0. You know
Right.
this team can't score. We've been blaring this for the last year and a half. This team can't fucking score.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to know as fans is, if not now, then when? At what point can you just decide that and accept the fact that we suck right now? No surprise to anybody, I think. And when can you take advantage of a year, and especially a draft class coming up, where you can really get a star player? Potentially in Gavin McKenna. We'll see with the lottery, blah, blah, blah. But at what point do you decide that, like, you have to cut your losses here, man? You can't sit here and tell me this team's making the playoffs this year. If you're Murray Edwards, there's no way you can sit there with a straight face, right? But again, what this will all come back to, okay, and what's going to affect it the most, if anybody wants to do anything to try to get rid of Murray Edwards, it's going to come back to the fans. You want to get rid of Murray Edwards out of here? Don't go to games anymore. Don't buy the merch, and stop watching these guys on TV. It's the same thing that I talked about all the way back with the Carter Hart stuff with Vegas. You don't want to support that team. You don't want to support that owner making these decisions. Stop going to games, stop buying their merch, and stop watching them on TV. It's the same thing here. Money will always talk. It always has talked with Murray Edwards, and he benefited from it from the playoff runs too recently as well. So you want to make sure this guy goes. You want to make a statement as fans. Stop going to the games. Stop watching these guys on TV. Stop buying the merch. So that's my little rant of it. Neil, this is obviously something that came up last week. I'll let you have your word in it, but Flames fans are fed up with Murray Edwards, and it's time for him to go.
It's so interesting that this came out, because I do now remember seeing this come out. And it was the day after Nazem Kadri's 1,000th career game.
Yeah, that's right.
And he scored in that game. Very emotional day. And you kind of wonder a little bit. I'm not trying to defend Murray at all, but I do wonder if the emotions got the better of him in that moment, with how, like, special that game was, and him scoring that goal and all that stuff, and like it being like great. That I wonder that. You were talking about like money. I don't know. Have you ever heard of McLean's magazine? You ever heard it?
Yes.
Yeah. You have. Okay. So like this past year, they listed the 40 richest Canadians in the country.
I see where this is going.
So we'll put it this way. McLean isn't even in the top 30. Sorry. Murray. Edwards is not even in the top 30. Right. He's 35th on the list, worth $4.6 billion. $4.6 billion. I will quote you something that someone close to me has said many times when it comes to sports ownership. The interest of the owners is not the same as the interest of the fans.
No.
There are only a smidgen of owners who have, at least for a period of time, the same mindset that the fans do.
Of course.
A great example of this in sports is Mark Cuban. Granted, he's not the full owner of the Dallas Mavericks anymore. And
owner of the Indianapolis Colts now.
Owner of the Indianapolis Colts.
What's her name?
Jim Irsay's daughter.
Yes. Kim?
Yeah, Jim Irsay's daughter. That's his daughter.
Yeah, okay, anyway.
Yeah, Jim Irsay's daughter. Yep. I don't know her name. I'm forgetting her name.
Kim. Anyway, whatever.
But like, they want to win, and so they've done a lot of things to invest in winning. Based off of what I see, Murray Edwards has never really had the full intention of going all in to try to win. It's always been just kind of like okay with, where they are, because in his mind, he makes money hand over fist anyway.
Yep.
And that's just a reality, right? Because us as fans are so dedicated to our team. We will go to the games. We will buy the merch. We will interact on social media. We will go to games live. You know what I mean? And like, And it sucks because we so badly want change. And you brought up the most obvious way of trying to create change is for fans to take a stand and say, we're not doing this anymore. We're not putting up with this. We're not going to games, this, that, and the other thing. Right.
Yeah.
And you can fire coaches. You can get rid of players. You can fire general managers. You could fire the janitors. You can't fire an owner. And that's the sucky part.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of deal with it. And I'm not telling Flames fans right now, oh, tough, deal with it. But it's just, this is more of just that reality. And clearly to me, when he's saying that our biggest asset, because right now, honestly, I think Nazem Kadri is the Flames' biggest asset trade piece right now.
I'm sure there's a bit debate, but yeah, sure.
Well,
Sure.
I think because of Anderson's kind of not great start to the year, we were talking about it last week about his trade value kind of going down. I would Nazem Kadri's name's been around a lot more. And look, the dude has still multiple years left on his contract. And
it's a 13 team no trade now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is so random that it's 13. I've never seen that, but but it doesn't matter. The point is that as the owner, you can't do that. You can't do that because now you put that in the public, and now you're basically saying, I'm jumping over my general manager and I'm telling everybody out loud that I have no interest of getting rid of a guy who is a good player. But right now, why, other than making money, what is Kadri's incentive to still be here? What is the incentive for the team to still have him here?
He's said on numerous occasions over and over that he loves it here. His family loves it here. And he also takes into consideration, on a personal side, do I want my family to up and move again, right? At him being 35 years old, right?
Sure.
So is it his decision at the end of the day? Maybe not, but we'll see. But you brought up an interesting point, though, earlier on when you're talking about firing GMs and coaches and that. And the big name that's been brought up now is Ryan Huska. I've defended this guy. I defended him last year. I don't think he's about. I think he's being painted in a bad light. I'm even with the whole chat GBT crap that came out last week. I'm still I will still go to bat for this guy. I do. And I say that because I'm still crazy enough to like his system. Okay. If you think, okay, let's put it this way. If you think it's the coach, then what was that last year?
Right.
You know what I mean? What has changed so dramatically from this team last year to this year? Not much has
Not much.
differentiated after the trade of Farabee and Frost. Right? The team is pretty much well intact. Right? They didn't do any offseason additions here. The only additions you're really seeing here are Zane Parekh coming in, which we'll get into, and Honzek, who's had 1 goal in 14 games. So what you're seeing from last year to this year is what we were expecting to happen last year. This team struggling to score and getting blown out, right?
Right.
That's just what you're seeing this year. And I'm sorry, I don't blame Huska. I think he's going to be used as the scapegoat if something happens after they extended him, which I didn't hate at all. I think he can still be the guy for this team. I like him as a coach. Yeah. I think the guys like him as a coach. I don't think it's the coach's problem. For one, it's the players not only that you just signed, Coronado off to a rough start, Zari, and a lot of the other guys, they can't score. But the problem is that again and again and again, they don't have the engine that can make it go.
Right.
And in this case here, you're looking at Kadri as the first line centerman, and he's just not. He's a second line centerman at best. So I don't like Huska being used as a scapegoat here in this case. I don't think, and I've seen it before in comments as well too. I don't like that Craig Conroy's being used as a scapegoat too. It comes back to Murray Edwards not giving a shit.
Right.
From everything that you said beforehand. So I think for fans, we're fed up. And, for those that think they can't, there's nothing that they can do about it. There absolutely is something you can do about it. Go watch the lacrosse team this year. Right? Go watch the Wranglers.
Go watch the Wranglers. Exactly.
Go watch the Wranglers. Right? Go watch the Hitmen in the CHL. in the Western Hockey League.
Yeah.
Go watch them. Go watch literally anything else. I would say Stampeders, but sorry about the Western semifinals that you guys had.
Woof.
So watch anything else than these guys. Like last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on, and I'll let you have the final word.
Sure.
When I was there in Ottawa 2 weeks ago watching these guys play, and it was encouraging what they were doing because Ottawa gave it to them kind of in the first period through all the penalties and shutouts and bullshit. My point is, I knew what was coming. They had a lead in the third period. I knew what was coming. And it exactly unfolded the way that I thought it was going to, and they folded like cheap cardboard. So this team is just who they are. None of us should be surprised.
No.
But you can do something about this, and we're all, in a way, really happy that this team is still dead last in the league. Because this is finally we're able to bottom out here, and we have the opportunity here to really flip the switch a little bit. Get rid of some big assets right now. Get a lot of young guys in return here. Go out and see what you can do here at the beginning of the draft here. And you're going to have some money to spend here in free agency. There might be some attractive pieces here to bring guys in. Right. So there's some things that you can do. But it's Murray Edwards who's holding this team back because he still thinks at 4-11 we're good enough to make the playoffs. That's where we're at.
Right.
And I think for everybody, that's just the most frustrating part. So I'll let you finish up this here. And any final thoughts?
Wasn't that long ago that Murray was in a really, really big battle with the city of Calgary to try to get a new.
Oh my God! Don't even get me
arena
started on that.
Wasn't that long ago, right? Now, granted, the mayor of Calgary was also not helpful in any way, shape, or form. But
because Murray Edwards has an ear, and anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, first of all, the original design of what they were trying to do was insane. Let's start with that. And if you don't know about it, Urinating Tree over on YouTube has a great video on the Flames from like a bunch of years ago, but it breaks down that entire thing. It's insane.
I'll see if I can find it. Anyway,
totally recommend watching it. That's how I knew about it. Like, that's how I found out about it. But like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I agree with you that it's so unfortunate for Ryan Huska because again, the old saying goes, coaches are hired to be fired, especially in the NHL. The shelf life of an NHL coach is so small, right? You get 1, 2,
rare cases,
maybe 3. Yeah, in most cases, 2 to 3 years. I mean, look at what happened with like Pete DeBoer, right? Pete DeBoer's had a ton of success. He had a ton of success in Dallas, but obviously couldn't get over the hump.
Well, he kind of screwed the pooch at the end because he sat Ottinger. So
no, of course, but that was also the final straw. I mean, honestly, like
right.
He, the shelf life of so many other guys. I mean, it just at the end of the day, there's always going to be somebody that ends up being the scapegoat, fairly or unfairly. And that's what I worry about with Huska. I worry about the same thing you're worrying about, Kyle, where it's like, if the season continues to bottom out the way that it is, I worry that the front office is going to feel like that they have to change who's behind the bench when you don't have to.
You know this team. You know this is who they are. It's not Huska. And frankly, I don't even really blame the players because this is the team that, it's just where they're at. It's who they are. If you want to put blame on Craig Conroy, okay, sure. But we kind of knew this was going to happen. But we're getting ready for a relaunch of this new arena. We want to be ready for that. So if it means we're going to suck this year, then fine. But for God's sakes, take advantage of it and do something.
And sometimes you got to go. Sometimes you got to go one step back to go 2 steps forward. And I don't regret what the Flames did last year. I don't, because I think it was important. I think it was important for guys to have the kind of play that they did last year. I think it showed a lot.
That's the potential. That's where they there is potential. It's there. We saw it last year.
They proved like, okay, this is where we can get to. And so this year we're off to a really bad start, right?
Because nobody can score.
Can't score. And that was the problem last year. Except last year we got bailed out many times. Let's call it like it is. We got bailed out by Dustin Wolf numerous times last season.
And the odd 5-goal game.
And the odd 5-goal game against Chicago on national television. Yeah. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, we are fans. And the only thing that we can do is just continue to support in whatever way we want to, whether that's actually going to games or not watching, whatever the case may be. And it sucks to say this, but all you could do is hope. All you could do is hope as a fan that things start taking a turn for the better. Maybe not during the season, but maybe the team bottoms out and we get Gavin McKenna. And maybe by this time next year, the future's a lot different. And you brought up a good point about free agency. If the Flames are to win the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, there will be players on the market that will want to probably play with Gavin McKenna because of that interest, because of that.
Look what Celebrini's doing now. Bedard and
Oh,
Celebrini, all of a sudden, they're making their cases to make Team Canada for the Olympics.
Him, Connor
So
Bedard.
it's taken a minute. It's taken a minute to get there.
Sure.
But like this could not come in a more perfect time.
Right.
And that's just, and again, it's just, and I don't think for Kadri, his value is going to get any higher than what it is now or in the next 2 or 3 months or so.
And the thing I just want to say this, if you're Craig Conroy, I would ignore that. I would ignore this statement. I know it sounds like a little nuts because he is your boss.
But you can do something. He can still do something, and
the fans
don't feel like the fans don't have hope either. They can still do something too. For God's sakes, I set up my Christmas tree on Saturday, for God's sakes, rather than watching the Flames play when they played Friday or whatever. Friday night, never mind.
Okay.
So, but that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, you could do anything else but watch this team. And for anybody who goes to the games too, same thing, right?
You could watch football for all you
Says me, who traveled 5 hours to Ottawa to go watch this team, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's fine. But, like, again, not the kind of, you don't want to hear that from your owner. It's one thing if you heard it from like Craig Conroy, which probably, I don't know if for some people that might be worse than hearing it from the owner. But I think at the end of the day, it's this. Craig Conroy can still do whatever the hell he wants. If he gets an offer, a really good offer for Kadri, don't think for a second that he won't make the move.
Consider it.
And you don't think he should have the attitude of like, if it gets me fired, so what? I'm trying to do what's best for this organization. Long term.
What I don't want to happen though is if something like this happens where they move him, I don't want them to like, let's just use Colorado as an example. They trade him to Colorado and you get a first round pick. What's that going to do? You already have Vegas's first round pick this year.
Yeah.
Like you don't, through the good couple of drafts that they've had in the last 2-3 years, you don't need more draft picks. How many times have I clamored that, man?
You need young players. You need young players, or at the very best, an impact player.
Yes.
Like, I don't know who, and I don't know who that is. Like, I'll give you an example. And again, this is a good example because I have ties to this because obviously I cover this team for the most part. But let's say New Jersey calls and wants Kadri, which by the way, Craig Conroy, Tom Fitzgerald, great relationship. They've already worked numerous deals together. They know each other very well.
It worked out last time.
And it's worked out for both. If we're being honest, like it's kind of worked out for both teams. The Devils could easily do a thing where maybe they're trying to move, just an example, they could move Shimo Nemec, a young defenseman who has played in the league for a while and can be a guy that can play potentially in your top four, could be the Anderson replacement.
Sure. Well, Parak, but
a right shot, another right shot defenseman who's played. He's played more than Zane Parak, at least in the early going.
Better than Jake Bean. Continue.
It's much better than Jake Bean. I can tell you that from my own perspective. But at least then, you know what, Kyle? You could sit there and say to yourself, okay, we're trading away Nazem Kadri to get a young player that has already played a bunch in the NHL, has played in the playoffs, and is still not even 25 years old.
Right.
And like, at least then as a Flames fan, you could say, there's another foundational piece. Same thing with Kevin Ball. Kevin Ball has found a home in Calgary to a fairly lesser extent, Yegor Sharangovich.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. But then you even think about guys like Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost and like, that.
Oh, I would eat so much to get rid of that contract now.
Right.
And it's not even like on Farabee. It's just like, we kind of knew this was coming.
Right. Of course. But like, you want to be able to get some impact guys that you could plug in right away, as opposed to getting a draft pick and then hoping that you draft the right guy, then in 2 or 3 years come down the road. We are beyond the point of like constantly drafting and developing over 2 or 3 years. There has to be a point in your rebuild where it's like it's time to actually start putting the young kids in.
Yeah.
We talked about it literally ad nauseum last week, Kyle, about how in a year or two, a lot of these young guys that we've been hyping up and we've seen and playing with the Wranglers and playing in
Sure.
they're going to be up here. They're going to be playing on this team. And it's time to start establishing that core long term.
And that's why, like, instead of thinking of the mindset of selling Kadri and Anderson, start thinking of buying young prospects.
Right.
Like who's gonna bite? Somebody's gonna bite at some point here, right? I don't want them to think of it as we're just selling these pieces off here for more picks. We don't need any more goddamn picks.
Right.
We don't need it, okay? Because we're lined up here for the draft coming up, right?
Very
we don't
true.
need any more picks for later on in the first round because we got Vegas. We don't need it next year, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe whatever, depends on the case here. But maybe you can start thinking of using them as a bargaining chip. So
Right.
we'll see what happens. I know Flames fans are just fed up with it, and I thought it was important to bring that up today. Okay. Very quickly, two things we'll talk about here before we head to a quick break here. Let's talk about the game last night. Again, Devin Cooley was great.
Yep.
He was phenomenal last night. I give him a lot of props. Like the last couple of games, really ever since he played in Ottawa when I went and saw him, he's been actually playing really good as a backup goaltender. Flames outshoot the Wild 36-19 in a losing effort there, 2-0. Jesper Wallstedt was incredible last night as the Wild win it 2-0. Another team who was at the bottom of the standings as well, too, for the Minnesota Wild, now separate themselves a little bit further from the Flames there if we're looking at the bottom of the standings. So I think what was just impressive last night for me was, and John Abbott from Sportsnet, who commentates the Flames games, like, didn't surprise him when Matt Boldy went and scored the first goal. It sounded like he was just like, yeah, and he scores. I just kind of giggled at that a little bit. So I don't know if he's feeling.
The broadcasters are at the point now of just like they just know what's coming.
Yeah,
that's like whatever. Move on.
So it's funny though, like when you look at the stats here, like
they scored.
Well, it's like Flames 36-19 shots. The faceoff percentage was great last night, 60%. Pretty even. Like, you want to negate the power plays here because nobody was successful in the power play, going 0 for 3 and 0 for 4 respectively. Everything about the stats here say like, well, why couldn't Calgary win this game? Well, it's been their case for the longest time because they can't score. And Kaprizov had an empty netter, so it was 1-0 the entire game.
It was 1-0.
So it was more or less just a goaltending battle last night. I thought both goaltenders were sensational. Wild fans should be very excited about Wallstedt. I've actually had my eyes on him for the last couple of years and think he's going to be a really good goaltender.
Dude, if I could go back to that 2020 draft, I wish the Devils had drafted Wallstedt in the first round. Oh, dude.
Who knows? Maybe we'd be stuck with Markstrom. We might be somewhere else. Anyway, Wallstedt was sensational last night. I'm going to give my flowers to Devin Cooley. I thought he was really good last night. Defensively, the team was fine. I thought the Flames played very well defensively. They really kind of shut down the neutral zone for the most part. Again, it's just the same story of they can't find a way to finish it, and it's going to continue to be this way. They did all the right things yesterday, but at some point, you just got to find a way to get one here and tie this game. Like, you're asking for one goal here, and you can't even do that. So, it's good in the loss column for us, though, to continue at the bottom of the league. But I know you said you watched it last night, so any thoughts from the game?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, Marcus Johansson was playing his 1,000 career game last night.
I forgot to mention that.
Got the main assist on that one, so congrats to him. This might sound weird to some, but that might have been one of the better games I've seen the Flames play in terms of just the overall, getting pucks on net. Defensively, I thought they were really strong. Again, Devin Cooley playing well. And it just sucks that you couldn't even score one.
Right.
And
how many of those 36 shots do you think were quality?
I'd like maybe 4.
Right. Right. Like
4?
How many were you really thinking about?
Yeah,
here?
I know. It's like, well, that's why I always say like shots on goal is such a misleading stat because you could throw 40 shots. It doesn't mean that most of them were good shots. It
Especially
could be
from this team.
It could be literally at the end of the period, when the clock expires, you just take a slapper from the other side of your rink and you hope to God it makes
That's all
somehow.
it's gonna take.
And it all counts the same. It all counts the same. Do I think the Flames deserved a little bit better of a fate? Yeah, but again, you can't score, and that's just going to be the downfall of this team all year. It's going to be this team just cannot find cohesiveness with scoring, and
No.
no amount of Chat GPT, I think, is going to fix this problem.
Yeah, that's never going away. So
Yeah.
here's one thing I wanted to really quickly bring up about the Flames here going forward. So their next game is going to be in St. Louis
Yeah.
on Tuesday night, I believe. Just announcing like their games going forward here. Okay,
God.
you got St. Louis. I'm just
Okay.
going to say the next 4 games here: St. Louis, the Sharks, okay, the Jets, the Blackhawks, and I'll throw in one more: the Sabres. So if Murray King Edwards, if they go 1-4
Yeah.
on these next 5 games,
Yep.
Kyle's gonna start punching walls here and drinking Monster Energy drinks, and I'm gonna start punching walls.
Oh.
Well, no, that's like the
I'll start drinking this.
That's the stereotype. No,
Start drinking. Yeah.
No, but you get the stereotype. Like, yeah, okay, anyway, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got it originally. I was just
Thank
like,
you.
where were you going?
Anyway, so like if they go 1 for 5 here, like in those next 5 games, something's got to give here, Murray. Right?
Probably not.
Something's got to give. Probably not, but something's got to give. So we'll see what happens. They're gonna be in St. Louis on Tuesday night here. Expect Devin Cooley to possibly get the start for that one there.
Will Jordan Kyrou play or get benched again? It's the lovely question that I saw.
We'll see if he gets traded.
They gave no answer to that, by the way. When they asked, like, why was Kyrou a healthy scratch, like, over the week, like, last week?
They didn't say anything.
They didn't say it. He wasn't hurt. He must have been late to practice or something. I swear. Like,
he's just, like, they're frustrated because they know they're better than that, right? So, anyway.
Yeah, so bench your, like, best offensive player.
Exactly.
That'll send a message. Yeah, and that's why the Kyrou rumors of him being traded are coming up again. Well done. That's great. I'm glad that St. Louis is what they are.
All right, let's take a minute here, and we'll be back on the other side. The NBA and NHL season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game, DraftKings Pick 6. It's the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less or two or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. Pick 6 is available in Texas, California, Missouri, and more. New DraftKings customers can get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN to play just $5 and you get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside. It's in partnership with the DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. And if you have a gambling problem, you call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available if problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. You must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere else, including New York, Ontario, and voided where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. That was pretty good. That was a good one.
That was good today.
That was a pretty good one. Not bad. See how I like roll through like I'm getting better. I'd like to say I'm getting better.
Every episode.
Every little bit. I'm getting a little better. Okay.
Yeah. I just realized we have like 9 people watching this right now.
Well, you don't have to say it. Just let them watch.
I said it anyway.
Just let them watch. All right. The one other thing I wanted to bring up, Flames news going into this week here. We got lucky with Parak. He's only week to week. Might be a good thing for him. Actually, it's a good thing in general because I think what they're going to end up doing is they probably want him to play at the World Juniors this year. So there is 100%. That little thing coming. I think they'll probably want him to play the World Juniors, which is going to be nice for Team Canada this year. But just wanted to show for everyone wondering what happened to him. It was, I believe it was Nick Foligno. Just along the boards here, it wasn't any.
Yeah.
Ooh. It was just a weird. I believe they got him on the wrist there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think so. It was
he's
just holding
his arm. Yeah, there's a good example. Right there. Yep.
Yeah, it might be his shoulder
He
too. Is probably where he got it.
he
It's
went
not a
wrist
dirty play or
first into the
anything.
boards on that hit. You could
Yeah,
see it like right there. Yep. And it hit funny enough on the boards there,
but
like
he's favoring his shoulder though.
mm.
Yeah,
You know what? You know what? Honest to God, like these hockey players, like you don't even know at this point at times what they're dealing with. I mean,
no,
honestly,
no. So
um,
he's just favoring his shoulder again. Super lucky that he's only week to week, which is nice. Um, it does kind of favor the debate a little bit of whether or not they should have kept him, but at least here, like,
fine.
you know, whatever, let him rest up here. I think
Let him
going
cook.
forward again, it's going to be important to just get
Yeah.
just play some games here, whatever, win or lose at this point. Excuse me, doesn't matter, more or less lose, but just play some games,
Right.
And
Yeah.
again, like that's what we kind of reiterated at the beginning of the year was to just get these young guys playing, right? Like the
Sure.
Grittins of the world come up, like getting him to play. I want to see Sam Morton a little bit more here. I want to see Rory Kieran's a little bit more. I want to see Zane play more games here. Like Sam Honzik, even though it's not been a great start, like look who he's playing with. He's playing with Backlund and Coleman. Like that's not going to be a recipe for huge success going forward. He's basically the one, like, he's a complement to that line, which isn't great. So
Mhm.
anyway, yeah, so Zane is going to be week to week in that one there. So for Flames news, that's pretty much it. Got till Tuesday to just kind of rest up and see what happens here. I think what would be more appropriate right now is to see exactly where they are in the standings, even though we're a month in. I think we're all like really interested though, because we want this team to finish in dead last. So we really want to know, like, okay, where are they at today? Are they still down there? Did anybody else win? Anybody else?
Right.
Oh, did they lose? Did the Canucks lose? Oh, that's not good. We'll
Damn
find
it.
out. Okay, so let's check it out. So they're still sitting
Holy
in last
crap.
place, which is why Tuesday is so important because if the Blues win, that would separate 5 points from the Flames as they still sit dead last. Here's
Kyle, one of these things does not belong here. One of these teams does not belong.
yeah,
I'm just going to point out there's a very obvious team that shouldn't be this far down. I know they're hurt, but this should not be this far down.
the Florida Panthers
What
sitting there
the
at
hell?
27 is not great. Um
That's rough.
but it's funny, like I'm gonna go all the way back. I'm gonna go look at the wild card standings here for a second and go all the way down here. So you're 8 points back already from a playoff spot.
Hmm.
Like, this is why these
I
next
love that
5 games
feeling.
are important because you have San Jose, who's a 500 club. You got the Blues, who are in like with us in last place there. Um, the Jets coming up is gonna be tough. You got Chicago, who I actually think is in a playoff spot. Yep, at 8-5-3, so good for Chicago. And Spencer Knight, who was phenomenal by the way last week too. I think he had two
I think he
shutouts,
had two shutouts this past week. Yeah,
two
two.
shutouts with Spencer Knight. Yeah, so he was
Good
pretty
for
good.
him.
Um,
Carrying my fantasy
you
team.
were gonna bring up though a quote
Yeah,
from who was it, Keith or no?
yeah. So this was after morning skate, literally this morning. Um, Daniel Moy of the Hockey Writers, who covers the Devils, does a great job. Um, he put out a tweet that said 28 teams are at NHL 500 as of today, or better right now. He at
28.
28.
Wow.
The Flames are not one of them.
No.
Tell you that. They're not one of them. But Daniel asked head coach Sheldon Keefe if he's ever seen parity to this degree, and this was the response to the game. It was pretty insightful,
Sure.
honestly. So Keefe said, "Oh, maybe not to this degree, but it is early still, right? I think that's part of it. You know, you've got some teams like us talking about the Devils
Hmm.
that start the season off with an 8-game winning streak, and then you have sort of one bad week, and you're right back with the pack. So I think that's really where it's at. This is my favorite quote of the entire thing. Still trying to figure out here if there's a lot of really good teams or a lot of really average teams, and we're one of them. We're just trying to figure out who and what we are. So that's a big part of it. But what I do know is every game you're in is against the team that has an opportunity to beat you. And I think that certainly is parity. You know, I think over time there's going to be some separation. That's natural. It's just math. But the early going here is certainly tight. It's math, by the
It
way.
is. It is. You want to
But
know what's
the
fascinating?
part that he said we have to figure out if there are some good teams or average.
Well, you
It's a
want to know what's fascinating here if you just look at the
funny statement.
West. Just looking at the West here, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
missing one other team above. What's one thing they all have in common? Take a guess.
I'm looking.
What's the
I'm just
one
gonna.
thing?
They
So the
all
team
have minus goal differential.
all the way from LA, and there's one more
They're
above here
all.
too.
They're
Or sorry,
all
no,
at.
all the teams on the outside looking in have a minus goal differential. How crazy is that?
You know what that tells you? Yeah, I'll tell you what it tells you. I'll tell you. It tells you two things.
Shoot.
The NHL, this new generation of goal scoring is at an all-time high. Number two, there aren't as many good goaltenders in the league nowadays as there used to be. We are not in the era of where like Henrik Lundqvist was playing, Carey Price when he was healthy,
You bet.
Roberto Luongo, even Martin Brodeur at the end of his career. Like, we're not. The NHL rule book has changed to allow more goal scoring and the rules and everything. I'm not, but also there just isn't as good goaltending anymore. So like, let's go down from 3 to 10. Let's just go down. Darcy Kemper won a cup, but like, he's okay. The San Jose Sharks, they have Askarov and Nedeljkovic.
Right.
Not great. Minnesota Wild. This is probably the most surprising one because you have Philip Gustafsson,
And
who's
Wallstedt.
competing for maybe the starting role for Sweden in the Olympics,
Mhm.
and Jesper Wallstedt, who is a young up-and-coming goaltender who maybe in the future is the starting netminder for Sweden in the Olympics.
Had a great night last night.
Thatcher Demko, coming off an injury, not playing all that well. I'm going to skip the Oilers because we already know the answer to that, and we know
We're going
why.
to talk about it. Yeah.
The Predators, you say Saros, he looks like he's on the downward swing a little bit. Blues, Jordan Binnington is a wild card all the time. 1 minute he looks good, the next minute he's putting Alexander Ovechkin.
1 minute he's going to win you a big
pants.
tournament. 1 minute he's going to win you a big tournament. The other he looks like dog water.
And he'll put, Alexander Ovechkin's 900 goal puck in his pants.
Yes, exactly.
And do whatever. Flames, I'm going to be nice about it. Dustin Wolf, but like he's kind of imploded, which is not good. And
But is it all on Wolf?
But is it all on him? Right. Not on him.
Right.
But my point is still very valid. Like, how many of these goalies do you feel like super confident in, like night in and night out?
I would probably argue Philip Gustafsson. That's about it.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
So then you go up. If you go beyond where LA is, right? And you go to like where the teams that are in the +8, right? You have Anaheim, who has Lucas Dostal, who's very good, by the way. Very
Plus
good.
17 goal differential, too.
And they have a very solid backup in Peter Mrazek. Even at his age, he's still for Vegas Golden Knights. You have Akira Schmid, who's gotten better. He coming off his first shutout. You're getting Aiden Hill back, and you're going to get Carter Hart in January. Seattle Kraken. It's just Joey Decord. I'm not putting Philip Grubauer in that discussion. Nope. Winnipeg Jets. Need I say more? Utah Mammoth. I don't get it.
Vejmelka's been good. Vejmelka's been good for them.
Yeah, and Vitek Vanacek's been a solid backup for them, right? Chicago, again, Spencer Knight. I don't even know who their backup is. I'm blanking right now. I don't know who their backup is.
Well, anyway, and then it's Jake Ottinger, and then
Jake Ottinger, and then it's Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood doing God's work.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But those teams are getting solid goaltenders. I mean, and again, I can go on and on. But my point is that that's what's crazy about it is that if you're not getting good defense and also decent goaltending, you could still win games. You're just not going to win as many. But if you're the Flames, then you're not getting any goals. Exactly. And then you're losing games 2-0, and then it's like,
Yeah. All right. So that'll do it for the Western standings at least. We'll check it out on the other side here, but we'll talk. I got an interesting debate coming up here. So be prepared for that. And we'll talk more news around the league. We'll be back from our friends from Rakuten. The holidays are here, and that means it's the most wonderful time of the year to save with Rakuten. Use Rakuten to stack cash back at your favorite stores on top of holiday sales. That's savings on savings. And with Rakuten, you can get cash back on gifts for everyone on your list, from toys for the kids to kitchen gear for the person who loves to cook, to electronics for everyone. And you can even save on something for yourself. Just shop the stores that you love, and cash back is automatically added to your account. And you can choose to get paid via Interact e-Transfer, PayPal, or checking. Join for free today and get a new member bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. Just go to Rakuten.ca, download the app, or install the browser extension, guys. That's Rakuten with an UTEN for Rakuten. Terms and conditions apply. All right. Let's get into my fun little debate, if you want to call it, here as the last little segment of
I
today's
like
show.
debating.
Good. So Saturday was interesting from our friends up in northern Alberta. The Oilers laid an egg, losing 9-1 to the Avalanche on Saturday night. Here's my question to you. With the Avalanche being 15-1, I can't remember what their overtime loss record is, and the Oilers being a 500 club, does Saturday's result speak more about the Avalanche or the Oilers?
That's a really good question. I think it speaks more to the Oilers than it does the Avalanche. And that's not a knock on the Avalanche because the Avalanche are very good. But also,
Right.
if we're being honest, Kyle, we've been knowing this. This, like, what they're doing offensively is not a shock in the
No.
slightest.
No.
It's just who they are, right? It's always been who they are,
Yeah.
right? I think they have gotten a bit better defensively. I think surprisingly, adding Brent Burns kind of improved their defense a little bit.
People forget about that.
Well, that's the kind of thing because, like, Brent Burns was solid for a bunch of years in Carolina, but I thought, like, at some point, like, he doesn't get a lot of points. He used to be more of an offensive defenseman, but, like, he's kind of taken what he learned in Carolina and has, like, translated it to Colorado, and he fits in seamlessly. So I just want to give credit there.
It's been good.
But here's the problem with Edmonton, and it's been the same problem. You have only a handful of guys that are making a lot of money on this team. You have McDavid still. You have Draisaitl making a lot. You have Evan Bouchard making a lot. You have Nugent Hopkins still making a decent amount.
Yep.
Zach Hyman, who hasn't even played yet, is still making a lot of money. The Oilers have invested way too much capital on their main guys without giving themselves enough leeway to build around the rest of the roster. If you take away even just one of McDavid or Draisaitl from that lineup.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go.
I would argue take one away from Bouchard or Norris because both those guys combined are making $19 million.
Okay, yeah, fair.
So let's keep that in mind here.
Sure. No. But my point was getting to this. You take one of just McDavid or Draisaitl, Kyle. Let me ask you this. How super intimidated do you feel going up against the Oilers, even if you have just one of those two guys out of the lineup?
Oh, they're obviously less intimidating for sure.
They're less intimidating.
Sure,
but I would argue that they're not as intimidating as they've been in years past. And why is that? Because their defense and goaltending, again, is just so unbelievably leaky.
And and the funny thing is, like, if you look at the goaltending market going forward in the trade deadline, who are you going to get?
Nothing.
There's not a lot of parity for goalies now.
Why do you think the Devils gave Jacob Markstrom that 2-year extension? They knew as well as anybody
getting to 7 years now, like
right. They knew everybody knows that. I've always said this: a really good goaltender is like having a really good running back in a lot of ways in the NFL. It's like they don't come around very often, like really good, like superstar level. And when you do have them, you want to try to keep them around in your system for as long as humanly possible.
Right.
You do. In the NHL, especially as we were just talking about with how much goaltending has changed and how much harder it is to have like really good goaltending, when you got it, you hold on to it, right? And I mean, the Rangers did it with Shesterkin, Ilya Sorokin with the Islanders, Jake Ottinger, Connor Hellebuck. Not too long ago, Kyle, there were rumors about him getting traded out of Winnipeg.
Okay. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. I think it's a bit
rumors.
Okay, yeah. Well, before he signed his contract,
before he signed his contract, not after he signed his deal. But but you don't think the Jets were like, nope, we don't want that because if we don't have Hellebuck, we don't have goaltending. Yeah,
correct.
Obviously. Yeah. So what you're seeing from Edmonton is the same issues that we've been seeing for about like 5 years now. They got no goaltending. They don't have enough depth. And their defense, if you don't have Nurse and Bouchard, carrying the heavy load, you don't got much back there.
Well, Bouchard's been crap this year.
And that's the other problem, right? He got paid.
Bouchard's been terrible. And Nurse, frankly, hasn't been all worldly either. And they just paid Ekholm as well, too.
But why did Bouchard get paid, Kyle? What was the biggest reason that Bouchard got paid?
Because of his offensive upside.
Nope. It's not what I'm... Nope. There's a different meaning to that. Connor McDavid. This is all about trying to keep McDavid from leaving in another year or two.
Sure.
And going somewhere else. You want to appease him. But I'm not trying to say that like McDavid is the reason that the Oilers are the way that they are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying the Oilers have done a piss poor job of like figuring out how to balance this team more. And they're going to be aggressive. I have no doubts, Kyle, that they will be aggressive at the deadline. I have no doubt in my mind.
They don't have a choice, right?
But they don't have a choice. But the question is, what's going to be out there? Especially if
I'm not denying Sure, but I'm not denying that there's probably better goaltenders than Stuart Skinner out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but who's available?
Well, we're gonna find out.
That's
I think.
My point.
Right? If you look at
Lickens, is that going to be the best that we have?
Well, the way that it's going, right? Like, do you trust Binnington back there? Is there a way that UC Soros resurrects it, and do they ship him out of Nashville? Do they make a big push for that? Right? Like, go look at the Eastern Conference. If you look at Merzlink, right? Like you said, like Merzlinken's out there, right? Like, who knows? I think like, do they make I don't know. Do they call the Islanders about Ilya Sorokin? I don't know.
And another thing, Kyle, I just want to say this, right? Look at this picture that you have up here. Who is in net for the Colorado Avalanche? It is Scott Wedgwood. Kyle, is Scott Wedgwood like a top 15 goaltender in the league?
I mean, the way he's playing now.
But in general?
Sure. In general, I mean, if you look at it, no, probably not.
No. The Avalanche have proven also that, like, it's not like you need, like, superstar Vezina caliber goaltending to be good, right? Sure. Like, when was the last, like, other than Bobrovsky, when was the last time we truly had, like, we could literally sit there and say, like, they had, like, a top 3 goaltender in the league, and that's why they won the cup? Probably Jonathan Quick in 2014.
Yeah. But there was also, I guess, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to think of other ones. Like, Braden Holtby for Washington was sensational.
Yeah. Jordan Binnington in 2019, we got to give him his credit.
Like, you're going to have hot stretches here. But, like, initially, like,
hot stretches,
early on, and that's the thing. Like, early
100%.
on in the season, like, you're not considering these guys to be, like, the best of the best here, right? Like, Lundqvist never won a cup because of, the guys in front of him just couldn't get it done.
Right.
And I don't think it was all on Lundqvist, right? But, like, it's going to be fascinating.
Oh, no, it was much more on the Rangers in front of Lundqvist than it was Lundqvist, in my opinion.
It was. I agree with going back to the topic here that game on Saturday, that 9-1 shellacking was more about the Oilers than what it says about the Avalanche. Because we saw it last year with the Jets and how they won like 15 games in a row, and we see that the Avalanche are 15-1 with a couple overtime losses. But it's all about the playoffs, right?
Oh, 100%.
And like, what does that showcase going into the playoffs now? It's like, all right, well, we know the Avalanche can score at will's end, and with the addition of Brent Burns and who knows what they do with the deadline, that it makes that defense a little bit more well put together, and they might do a bit of a better job shutting down the two-headed dragon, which is McDavid and Draisaitl. So, but and the last thing I'll say is that because of the parity that's been going on in the league right now, and the way that you see it, that's not good for Edmonton.
No, this is worst case scenario right now with how a lot of teams have been.
It's so friggin' hard to get back there to the cup final again. And why do you think there's so much so many different teams that we see in the cup final every year, aside from Florida the last 2 and then the Lightning the last 2. And then we see, the Pittsburgh Reign and, you saw that a couple of times, but it just goes. It's just so hard. And the Panthers are just beaten up with injuries, and who knows if they're going to be in the conversation when the playoffs come around now because they're so beaten up. And so, like, with Edmonton, like, I don't know, man. Like, what do you do going forward? Because, like, okay, it's great McDavid took this pay cut. You got 2 guys on defense there making $19 million. Those are your guys that you're going to have to bring forward here in the next 3 years. You can't just ship those guys out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Man, that was an ass kicking on the weekend though by the Avalanche.
Dude, it's just, I mean,
It was
and look,
bad.
I mean, right now, my favorite coming out of the West is Colorado. I mean, it's just very impressive what I've seen. But
Sure.
again, we've known the kind of capability that Colorado has. You see it on a night-to-night basis.
Right.
Even last night, look how they came back against Vancouver and ultimately won, right? And I don't even remember the guy's name that scored the game winner in overtime. I don't even know who that is.
Right.
But it's just different guys every night. I mean, it's really impressive what we're seeing. But with Edmonton, I mean, look, yeah, I mean, to be fair, last year they were in a similar. Actually, they were in a worse position last year. They were towards the bottom of the league. Remember that? They were
so
like,
bad. They were
we were like,
so
oh, they're
bad.
dead in the water. And yeah, they ended up, making a run and got to the final. But again, it's one thing to get to the finals 2 years in a row and win both of them, like the Panthers done. It's another thing if you get all the way there twice and you don't win it. That takes more of a toll, honestly.
That's why it's hard. It's so much harder to see dynasties in the NHL than we do in.
You can't.
It's
The best I
there's
think
too many
that most
moving
teams
pieces.
can do is win
Too
two.
many things
Right.
that can happen that can go
Right.
wrong.
Injuries, other things like that, just so much.
It is. Global Series coming up Friday. Nashville and Pittsburgh will play Friday and Sunday in Sweden for the NHL's yearly Global Series.
Late.
Possibility that there might be a Global Series game in Switzerland next year, from rumblings of what I'm hearing.
If it's not I'll be honest with you, if it's not the Devils versus the Kings, who combined have the most Swiss-born players playing,
Yeah.
I'm pissed. Because I'm just telling you right now,
right.
Because the Devils have 3 of them, and they're all impact players in their own right, for goodness sake. Like, if it's not, I'm pissed. I'm just pissed. So there you go.
Yeah.
We'll put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, any other news that I'm missing here from over the last little bit? Rangers still suck. Rangers still suck. That's a thing.
Now it's not funny. I gotta be honest with you, like, now it's not funny anymore that they're doing it. I just think it's just bad luck, man. I got nothing, because if you take away their win-loss record at home, that's a top 5 team in the league. Record.
It's true. It's true, because they're 0. They have not won a game at home this year.
They can't score at home.
They're 7-1-1 on the road.
Yeah,
and guess what?
If they played the Flames at home, maybe they would score.
So that's the funny thing, though, is that the Rangers are 7-1-1. Guess who their one regulation loss was to? Do you not know this?
Was it Pittsburgh?
No, it was the Flames.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the Flames beat them at home.
Right, I knew that. Yeah, I knew that.
That's their only blemish on the road in regulation was against Calgary.
How far away are the Flames from the Rangers?
I don't know, man.
Like, how far are we away from that? And look, at least we don't have 1,000,001 like albatross contracts to worry about. We just have one.
God, it's just the one. Yeah.
Like,
all right. Well,
oh, geez, that's crazy. Also, in case anybody wants to know, PWHL season kicks off next week. Nice. They're doing another tour. They play in random. I believe they're playing in Calgary.
I would be one to bet with the new arena coming in that they probably expand there, is my guess. I would assume. Yes. Yeah. With Vancouver, with what they have now in Vancouver.
Support your local women's hockey team if you go.
Love the logo.
Oh yeah, did you see the new logos for Vancouver and?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the Vancouver logo. Yeah, it's cool.
It's just unfortunate that they won't have. They just have like the regular jerseys that like every team had 2 years ago, but they said it was because they just didn't have enough time to get the manufacturer. So next year they will. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I also think that that series between the U.S. and Canada kicked off.
Oh yeah, the U.S. have been dominating Canada so far.
I think they're one of the games they dominated.
I think they won like 5-1 last night or something.
But you know what's great about that? That's such a good tune-up for both those teams for the Olympics.
Oh God, it always is every year.
I'm so excited.
Listen, we're all just waiting for the gold medal game for that one, right?
Watch it end up being like Finland versus Sweden, like both teams just choke it away in the semifinal.
And that's something that's gonna be, we're gonna be bringing up too, right? We got a lot of things coming up. You got World Juniors coming up in 1 month here. You got the Olympics coming up very shortly soon. So It's okay, Calgary fans. We're gonna suffer one more month, and then we have other good hockey coming up. All right, good stuff. Catch the game on Tuesday, guys. They're gonna be in St. Louis for that one. Devin Cooley, I think he's gonna be lined up to start that game as well. And then they're gonna be in Winnipeg on Saturday as well too, which will be the game we'll talk about next Monday. So good stuff as always. And hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Stay cool. There's snow here now.
Wow.
Stay warm. Cool. Jesus. Stay warm, Kyle. God.
Stay warm. I mean, I'm staying cool.
That was bad.
I'm having a great time. It's a cool 65 degrees every day in New Jersey right now, so I'm not complaining.
I mean, stay cool, because you're cool. Got it. Yeah.
Can we end this episode?
All right. That's gonna be it. All right. Well, we will see everybody on Monday next week. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll chat to you then.
Later, guys.